All right, today we're going to be drawing the pin that goes on the top of our base block. It's a little brass pin. There's two of them. There's going to be a 3/8/16 threaded hole on there, and then this part is going to be made on the lathe. So we're going to draw this part as if we're going to turn it on the CNC lathe, and then in later videos we're going to go ahead and program it. So the pin that we're going to be using is this pin right here. You see that the blueprint is here. I'm going to attach a link down below where you can download this blueprint and then follow along yourselves. So the thing we got to know whenever we're using a lathe setup on here is that we only need to program the top half of the part. So all of our diameters, we're going to basically draw them as radiuses, and then this origin here in the center is going to be the center point of our part. So you'll see as we move along. So I'm going to start at the 0, 0 and work right to left on this part because that's how it's going to look inside of my lathe. So the first part of here is going to be our 3/8/16 thread. So I'm going to draw a line. Now half of the major diameter of a 3/8/16 thread is 3/16, so 187. So our length is going to be 0.1875. And we're going to go straight up with that. So you see our line, and the length of that's going to be 600 thousandths. So click here, length 0.6. Draw that over. Now, my next diameter is going to be 600 thousandths. So the way I like to do this, it works a little easier for me instead of doing the math, is to just continue to draw at my 0 point. So half of 600 thousandths is 300 thousandths. Draw it straight up, and then I'm going to use transform dynamic, and I'm going to move this line over to where it needs to be. Now, the length of that line is, or that 600 thousandths diameter is 1 inch. If you look at our print, you see the 0.6, the overall length 1.6. You subtract them, you get 1 inch. So we're going to draw a line here and make it 1 inch long. Now, down at the very end of the part, we have a 1/4 inch diameter, and that's what it's going to taper down to. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw a line, length 0.125, because we always draw half, straight up. Now I'm going to transform dynamic, grab just that short line, and we're going to move it the length, which is the overall length of the part, 2.1. So minus 2.1. Push enter twice, and now you'll see that line is here. Now I can go ahead and just connect these two lines, and I have my entire part drawn. Now I have a little bit of trimming to do, and I want to add my relief groove for my threads. You don't see it on the part, but whenever you're turning threads, you should be machining a relief groove, so we're going to go ahead and add that in, and we're going to add in a chamfer for the front of the threads. So first thing here, we're going to go ahead and trim this. You can use the trim entities. I find a lot of times it's easier just to go ahead and delete the line and then draw a new line in. It's really up to you on how you want to draw. So for this relief groove here, the relief groove diameter for a 3/8/16 threads is 305 thousandths. So if we take half of that, which is 152 thousandths, would be the radius, and then this right here is at 187 thousandths radius. When you subtract those, you have a 35 thousandths difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line here, 35 thousandths. straight down. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and create this relief groove 160 thousandths wide. It should be wide enough for any of your grooving tools that you have on your CNC lathe to fit in there. So I'm just going to make it 160. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform dynamic, and I'm going to move this line over 160 thousandths, 0.16, enter. Now, before I hit green check, I'm going to change it from move to copy. Now green check. Now I have the two lines, and if I connect those lines, I just created my relief groove. Now, just to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and delete this line and reconnect it here. Now there's our relief groove for our threads. Now I'd like to add in a 60-degree chamfer on the front of this part for my thread entry. So to do that, we're going to use our chamfer tool. I'm going to change it to distance with angle, or distance and angle. And the way this works, to put our on here for our 60 degree, we're actually going to use an angle of 30 degrees. And then I'm going to select the right line, distance of 40 thousandths. So a little bigger than what our thread depth is. Now select the right line and the left line, green check, and now you can see I have a nice little chamfer on there. So that really should do it. That's this pin. I'll show you the print again real quick. This pin is what we programmed, and you can see it here in Mastercam. It's ready to go. Go ahead and save that, and then in the next video I'm going to show you how to set up the lathe tool library that I want you using.